Kinderszenen begins with a piece that has a very strange title, From Foreign Lands and Men. And the thing is, it's a very modest piece, and there's no indication as to how fast it is. He doesn't write allegro, andante, allegretto. So he writes a metronome mark. We put on the metronome, very fast. Okay, but let's look at the melody and the harmony, that maybe they can tell us something about the character of the piece before we go into how fast it should be played. You see the melody goes the first note and the last note, and this it's all part of one big phrase. The second phrase goes to a lower note. That's the first phrase. So what we actually hear is a third traversed in this whole phrase. Now, if it begins this way, wouldn't it be simpler if it just went a note up? Instead of, as I would say, going round the world, and I think maybe tongue-in-cheek, that's what the title might be referring to. It goes all the way around to end up there. Now the bass, if you listen carefully, does this step. And then they change places, the bass with the right hand. They exchange the voices. So the bass will tell you the right note, change the voice with the upper voice, and then the same there, and they go together there. So I think when one sees the whole phrase and the urgency of this chord, the bass, to get to the right note, one feels that it shouldn't be played too slowly. It's not quite an adult musing on a child. It's more the adventurous spirit of the child getting there first, or not getting there first. And then now it modulates and it goes into very serious and faraway places. It's as if the right hand wants to get to where the bass is. It gets that note, and then the bass goes there, and by the time the right hand catches up, the bass is away. So therefore I feel it's a lot of contrapuntal between the bass and the upper voice, and somehow the bass is always there first. I'll have to see whether, after playing this a while, because I haven't played it really in public yet, whether I'll be convinced about this faster tempo, because most people play it rather slowly at the beginning. Now the second piece, A Curious Story, has a slow metronome marking, and it has what some people would say a martial aspect of this rhythm. But I'm not sure that's what really was meant. It's a story perhaps unfolding with a different ending every time the phrase repeats itself. This is the phrase. This is the first answer. And again, now we ask the same question and a different answer. It goes into the minor, and this modulation is very beautiful. beautiful story. The third piece, in English, I think we would say it's called tag. It's a game that children play where they scurry around. If they touch you, you're out. And you can hear this tag in the very first accent. I don't myself at this point play it with a retard, which I think makes it a bit sentimental, makes it a bit cute, putting the child in its place, so to speak. I think it's very active, and like many pieces in this, seen from the child's perspective. Maybe recollection of the composer when he was a child, but nevertheless putting himself in the mind of a child. The next piece, I think, suffers from being tagged in this last piece. And so you hear the child, in a way, pleading. All of the inner voices, I think, reflect the of the child. Above that, do you remember that tune? That is the child's spirit. Now, the next one, Glückes, genug, has an understated happiness which almost reaches ecstasy, but in a very quiet way.